Hello everyone, so today we are going to learn how to use watercolors. So the first thing you need to know when you're using a set of watercolors is how to set up your workstation. So here I have a blank sheet of paper, I have my watercolor set, a cup of water. Notice that my cup of water is halfway full. That's what you're looking for. You want it to be about halfway full, so in case it does fall over or something happens, you have less water. Notice this cup is also dirty. This is a cup that I specifically use just for painting. You do not want to use a cup that you like drinking out of. So, and even a plastic cup is just fine. So a cup that's halfway full of water, and then something to dry off your paintbrush with. So a tissue, some toilet paper if that's what you have, or like I have a folded in half piece of paper towel. Other important things. In order to make yourself as successful as possible, you want to make your tools as easy to use. So you always want to make sure that all of your painting supplies are on the side that you are going to write with. So your dominant side. So I'm right-handed, so all of my supplies, including my paint when we start, will go on my right side. If I were left-handed, all of my supplies would go on my left side, with my paper in the middle. So right-handed on the right side, left-handed on the left side. Okay, so let's move on and talk about watercolors themselves. So the cool thing about watercolors is that they're very easily transported. So you can move them from one place to another very easily. And the reason why is when you get a set of watercolors, they're actually dry. And the thing that activates them or makes them become paint is the addition of water. So that's what makes them watercolors. So what I like to do anytime that I'm starting a painting project is I like to dip my paintbrush in water, and if you notice it's very wet, my paintbrush, I actually have a paint glob kind of chilling on the back of it. And what I like to do is I like to put a couple of dots of water in each of these. So I'm not actually even touching my paintbrush down to the paints, I'm just putting a dot of water in each of these. And by doing that, that is going to activate my paints. So they're going to be ready for me to use when I'm ready to use them. Now, because these are wet, they are ready to use. But something you might not know is that the more water you add to a watercolor, the lighter the color becomes. The less water you add, the darker it becomes. So, something to think about. Another thing, when you are done using your watercolor set, you always want to make sure you leave it open for at least a few hours so that it has a chance to dry. And then at the end of the day, you can close them up and store them wherever you need to store them. Watercolors do not stain, and they come out, anything comes off of them if you add water to them. Okay, so notice my paint set is a little bit messy. So if you have an issue with that, if that's really frustrating to you, you can actually just add a few dots of water to your paint set. So I'm just using my paintbrush, and then you can use your paper towel or a tissue and you can wipe it off. So just like I was telling you, that when you add water to a watercolor, it rehydrates it, and you can do pretty much anything you want to once you've added water. So it's really easily cleaned with water, just plain water. Okay, so now that I've cleaned off this area, why did I do that? This area is the perfect place to mix your paint colors. So with the clean paintbrush, I'm going to go into one of my colors. I'm going to mix my paint around a little bit. I've got a nice tip of my paintbrush colored, and I'm going to put it in one of those sections. Then I'm going to go into my water cup. I'm going to hold it with my helper hand, put it up at the bottom, and mix, 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 mix. I'm going to wipe my paintbrush off on the edge, push my paint cup back to where it's supposed to be, and go into my next color. And what's going to happen is now I can mix these two colors together, and they've made a nice new color. So that's a great place to color mix. And then you're ready to use it. So, all right, those are our basics on our paint set. Remember, anytime you're done using a watercolor paint set, wipe off wherever you've color mixed, just like this. Leave yourself a clean workspace, and remember to leave these open for a few hours and somewhere safe that they won't get knocked into. All right, everybody, if you have any questions, let me know.